What is up, Healthcare Digital Marketing? It's Alex, and this is Tuesday Night Fever. And tonight we're going to give you an entire roadmap to setting up yourself for huge success in Facebook ads. We're going to give you A to Z, everything that you have to have in place to crush Facebook ads, okay, to have your lead gen automated through your advertising. Now, this is something that's going to apply to everything that you do in your marketing, and I can't believe I'm giving this away for free. I probably should. In fact, I'm probably going to get some tokens too, because of how much we're giving away here tonight. But I talked about last week, which if you didn't see last week's Tuesday Night Live, talked about how to choose between the content that you're consuming online right now, which is really important if you're going to have success this year. But here's the thing, you need to know what your path is in order to know what you need to be focusing on right now. So what I want you to think about tonight is, what step of these 9 are you on? And what is your next step to get towards automating successful marketing, okay? If you're on here, say hi. If you're on the replay, let me know. Say, hey, I'm on the replay. If you're on here live, say hi so I can give you a shout out. Will, of course, first man on here. Will, thank you so much. Derek says he's about to run his first ad. He can't wait for this. Ooh, you're going to have to look into this then and see if you've done everything that you need to, because running the actual Facebook ad is step 7 of 9, Derek. So you may think you're on step 7. I hope you are. Tonight we're going to find out, okay? And we're going to see what you need to do. So this is going to have to be necessarily surface level. Because of these 9 steps, we could do a deep dive. I mean, we could spend a week on every single one of these, and maybe we will. But really, I just want to give you a roadmap, okay, to look at where you're at and where you're going. If you want to get really deep into this, Will and I are actually going to be announcing a project here in the next, week or two, that'll allow you to work with us over the course of 6 months to be able to dial this in for yourself and for your clinic. If you're interested in that, you can let us know. It's going to be kind of like a high-level mastermind where we're actually going to be working through each of these steps, because we want you to be thinking long-term about your ads. We don't want them to be like one-off, sort of trying for a home run and not hitting it out of the park, right? Tijal says that her number 1 goal is to run her first ad by the end of the month. That is awesome. Andrew, what's happening, dude? Tijal, you've already run your first ad. Let's be honest. You've already been doing the workshop one. Your first one is over. Now we got to dial it in for the rest of them. What's up, Jasmine? How are you? Glad you're on here for Tuesday Night Fever. You guys, I am standing, by the way. I usually do my Tuesday Night Fever sitting, but I've decided to kick up the energy a little bit. I am standing now in a standing desk setup that I set up today. I can't wait for it. Do any of you guys have standing desks at your work? We're all healthcare practitioners. A lot of us are PTs. We all know how terrible it is to be sitting around all day. One of these Facebook Lives is going to have to be about sitting, you guys. I did presentations on it all through PT school, and it's this terrible demon. But we're going to talk about that at some other day. Joey says you really need to stop wearing black shirts. I know, man. I'm just floating here. It's because I don't have my lights on right now, actually. I don't have my lighting set up yet here, so my head's just floating, dude. Derek says, keep me updated on the offer. I'm interested to work with you too. Okay, man. Derek will reach out to you. Loving Facebook ads. Yeah, Cameron, you're doing a lot with them. And you're probably more at the 8 to 9 level in this. We've been working on these for a long time. So here we go. We call this ABC marketing. The ABC marketing method starts with level 1 is assess. Okay. Level 2 is build. Level 3 is crush. Because we crush our ads in this group, you guys. We crush them. ABC marketing, assess, build, crush. And within each of those, there are 3 steps, okay? We're going to go through them. I want you to identify where you're at in these steps and then what your next step is. So first one, under assess, you got to figure out who the heck your audience is, okay? We've talked about this a lot, figuring out your target audience. I want you to define them so clearly that when I ask you who is your target audience, you can tell me everything about them. Who they are, where they live, what they like, what they don't like, age range, demographics, how much they make. Go back and listen to the Healthy Funnel podcast. I think it's episode 2 where we dove into audience targeting and figuring out who your target audience is. We actually go through a really fun exercise in there. Check out the Healthy Funnel podcast. I think it's episode 2 or maybe 3. Will, you can correct me on that one. But we go into audience exploration there. Now, a lot of people think, yeah, I got my audience, I'm set. I think that each of you should take another look at that. Cameron, I'm going to call you out, for example. Cameron, you're a running expert. You're also a metabolism expert, a weight loss expert. You are a back pain expert, a knee pain expert. Like, you could be expert in a lot of things, right? Cameron, you got to choose a target audience that is so clearly defined that everyone knows who your target audience is. That's going to be a difficulty for a lot of you because you're expert at so many things. It's, I help anyone with back pain. I help anyone with this. Well, you got to get a lot more specific. And if you're going to have success online in marketing, it's much more about becoming the person who is expert in one thing. Okay. And I know that's difficult. I know it's not fun to like niche down, but if you don't niche down, people are going to be like, oh, what's he talking about today? Is it running, or is it neck pain, or is it weight loss, or is it plantar fasciitis? It's going to be a lot easier if, oh, he's the guy who's like, great, Cameron's the guy who keeps runners on the road. Great, Cameron, boom. Like, I'm a runner. I listen whenever Cameron talks. Okay. I want you to be so specific that you feel like you're too niche. Okay. And I just want you to try that for a while. Someone suggested that there's this 90-day challenge going out there by a guy who's the Facebook group expert. And he's expert in a lot of other things, but he's known for Facebook groups. And he said, hey, you got to be the expert in one thing over 90 days. Right now, we're focused very heavily on Facebook ads because A, we know who our target audience is. B, we know that they really are interested in Facebook ads. And C, we know that if we can start talking to people about Facebook ads, we can open up the conversation to the broader things in marketing like we're doing tonight, okay? Being specific actually allows you to be heard by more of the right people. And it still opens the door to be able to talk about other things, right? It doesn't mean that you always have to be talking about one thing. It just means that you have to be bringing it back to that one thing, whoever that audience is, okay? That is super important. Jason, Jason, thank you for all the likes, man. That's so nice of you. Felicia, thank you for tagging everyone. Shout out to Felicia for being on the Healthy Funnel intern team. She's doing an amazing job so far. We appreciate the heck out of it. So first one, audience exploration. Second one in assess. I just did a 3. Second one in success is message assessment. You have to assess what the message is. So we just talked about that, figuring out who your audience is, but then what do you talk to them about? You got to have like a core that you're going back to, okay? Our core, as we're developing it, is the ABC marketing method. You guys will hear a lot more about this, and this will guide our content. It will guide our courses. It will guide our coaching, and it's important. Dude, Jason, thank you for the shout out, man. You've been consistent on stuff. I want you to tell people what you've been doing and how it's changing things for you, because you're getting specific and you're figuring out who your target audience is and what they want. You're figuring out the messaging. And everyone's like, well, I'm ready to run a Facebook ad. Like I've got this ad ready. And it's like, well, do you know who you're actually targeting? And do you know what the messaging is? And messaging gets deep, right? That's everything we've been talking about on these Tuesday night fevers, that you got to be able to package it in a way that people care about. We were talking today, I'm going to share this. We were talking today about pillows with a clinician. We were talking about how you can talk about pillows to someone in an interesting way. This could be for a Facebook ad. It could be for a Facebook post. It could be for an email. And think about the difference in let's see, I'll come up with one that I didn't suggest so that not everyone is using that. But think about something like the difference between, I don't know, how your pillow's slowly killing you every night versus why you might want to buy a new pillow, right? Like it's messaging. It's talking about things in a way that like gets intrigue, right? That's what we're talking about with messaging. It's all the methods that we've been talking about, the AMP method specifically. Go back and search in the group the AMP method, AMP method, that we talked about a few weeks ago on Tuesday Night Live, or Tuesday Night Fever. I like Tuesday Night Live too, though. So step 1, audience exploration. Step 2, crafting your message. You can test that a million ways, and we've talked about how to do that. Step 3 is once you find the message, kind of assessing what the message is, it's actually testing it putting it in front of people and seeing how they respond. You can do that a couple ways. You can actually put up a Facebook ad and put a couple bucks behind it and test a bunch of different messages and see which one gets clicked the most. You could do a series of Facebook posts on your page or on your personal page, and use different messaging and see how that affects people. You could ask here in the Healthcare Digital Marketing Group, or if you work with Will and I in one of our mentoring setups, ask us, get some feedback on your messaging. You got to test different things to figure out what your audience is going to respond to best, because if you don't test it, how do you know that that's what they're going to respond to? How do you know that what you think sounds awesome actually makes no sense to them? You don't without testing it. One of my favorite ways to do this is with polls. And you can run a poll on your personal page, on your personal profile. You get 2 options that it'll give you. You can say, hey, which of these do you like better? Which of these would you rather learn about, A or B? Right? Test messaging like that. If you go back to the very first Tuesday Night Live stream, Tuesday Night Fever, man, Tuesday Night Live, I don't know why it's doing that. If you go back to the first one, we talked about 3 different tools that you can use for audience research. Facebook polls is one of them. There are 2 others in there that you should go check out. So that is the assess phase of ABC marketing. A is assess. B now is build. So step 4 is media mastery. It's actually learning how to create media that people respond to. Now, that is largely video, I would say, is the number one thing I would be focusing on right now. Learning how to get in front of a camera, edit the video if you need to, and play around with different media sources. Now, for images, there's lots of different options. You can get stock images on Pexels.com, on Unsplash.com. Facebook has stock images, and you can create image variations on Canva. Okay, everyone uses Canva. It's free. It's great. If you're doing video, here's a couple of quick things. I do not want you to have the video way up here, and you're like, hey guys, right? You're looking way up to a camera. I also don't want you looking down at the camera. It feels demeaning as the viewer, and it feels like you're being talked down to. Have the camera at eye level, okay? Framing wise, some simple framing tips. You can either be in the center of the frame at about the 1/3 mark up. So if you notice right now, my head's just a tiny bit above center, like the center of my head is up here. You should be centered around the 1/3 mark. You can also be over here in kind of the 1/3 area of the camera. There's some specifics to that you can go learn. We've talked about it, and we talk about it with the people that we work with one-on-one. Microphones are important. Right now I'm using a stick mic that looks like this for podcasting, but you could also use a lapel mic. I don't feel like this is the most important thing, but having your media feel quality, for like 20 bucks, you can go grab a mic and you can put your camera, your phone on a tripod. Those 2 things, that makes a big difference. So the second one is media mastery. Whether that's video or photo or audio, like maybe you're doing a podcast, right? And learning how to do that. We talk about all of that. That's step 4. Step 5 is actually creating your funnel. We go into that in depth in our course. And really that's what the bulk of our masterminds end up spending the time on, is creating the funnel. Tejal, you've done that. Matt, you've done that. Who else is on here? We got a bunch of people on here. Say hi if you haven't said hi yet. I can say there's 17 of you on here right now. That's a lot of people. Say hi if you haven't said hi yet. Felicia right now is going through this. Joey's going through it. Jasmine's going through it, learning how to build funnels. And you need to have something in place that you're sending people to, whether that is an opt-in form with their name and email address, or whether you're actually putting them through an offer funnel where you're actually having them buy something as a result of your ad. The funnel totally depends on what your purpose is, right? And we go in depth in this in our course again, but you need to have your funnel built before you actually run the ad, okay? And that goes back to what your offer is. Which is something that we don't really cover in these 9 steps, but I think that's kind of the key part of funnel building, is knowing what your offer is. Tejal says, yes, I did it, started reading .com secrets and feel like I need to redo my funnel and be very specific as to my next steps. Okay, awesome. By the way, if you're not part of it yet, we're in the middle of our free mastermind right now, where we're all reading Expert Secrets. If you haven't yet requested the link to buy it, You can request it here. Just say, I want to buy the book, and we'll send you the link to it. And there's a poll that we just put out yesterday looking at what day of the week we're going to run it. Looks like it's going to be Thursdays. You can still go sway the vote, though. Tomorrow we'll put out a poll looking at what time, but we're going to run a free mastermind at the last Thursday probably of every month, going through a book. This month it's Expert Secrets. The next one will be .com Secrets, Teja. So that's step number 5 is funnels. Step number 6 is the back-end system. You need to have something in place to send emails. You need to have something in place to notify you that you have new opt-ins. You need to have those back-end systems in place before you run an ad, right? We use MailChimp because it's free and it's fairly easy to use, and it's a good starting point for a lot of people. ActiveCampaign, MailerLite is another one, Infusionsoft. All of these are back-end systems, and we need to have those set up. Here's the best thing for back-end systems you can have. I want you to write this down. Zapier. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. Zapier, Z-A-P-I-E-R. Someone should type in Zapier. It is the best back-end system connector there is, which means going from your ad to whatever your opt-in page is, whether that's a free MailChimp opt-in page, because you can build landing pages now on MailChimp, or whether you're going to a ClickFunnels site, you need to have some sort of connection from there to your mail system, like MailChimp. But then also you need to be notified of that. There's a whole slew of things that you can do with Zapier. We're going to do a whole mini course on it, Zapier for healthcare marketing, because there's just so much that we use it for. So that's number 6. Let's recap. We've gone through the assess and the building phase of our marketing. Step 1, audience exploration. Step 2, message assessment. Step 3, offer testing. Step 4, media mastery. Step 5, funnel creation. Step 6, back-end system. Okay. Step 7, Cameron's all about them back ends. Cameron. This is Tuesday Night Fever though, so we're all about that fever, right? We're not dancing, okay? Y'all who know me know that I'm not the best dancer in the world, okay? There's a reason I'm sitting here on live streams talking about marketing and using my hands a lot and not my back end, because I'm not a dancer. Y'all are going to find that out way too hard at SSPT Live. I don't know about you, but there's just I can be super confident in some things. I'm fine jumping on a live stream like this and talking into a camera. Totally fine. But dancing, oh man. And the funny thing is, I took dancing lessons when I was younger. I can actually tap dance like nobody's business. At least I could a little while ago. So my daughter and I will tap dance, but real dancing, real Tuesday Night Fever dancing, you guys. I'm not pulling out the disco here, that's for sure. Recentering. So step 7, crush. Okay, so we went from assessing to building to now crushing the ad. So up to this point, you have actually built out who your audience is, your offer, you've tested, you have the media in place, you have the funnel, you have all the back-end systems, Cameron, set up. Now it's actually putting out the first ad. We call this turning on the new patient faucet, because we're just starting to collect leads at this point. Here's the thing, long-term game. That's what I want you to focus on here. We are not going for short-term wins with Facebook ads, nor any digital marketing. We're going for long-term gain. And that's something that Will and I haven't talked a lot about. We talked about, you can have this great success with it. The great success comes over time. Utah Jazz are playing right now. I'm actually dying to know what the score is. If anyone wants to look up the score for me of the Utah Jazz Warriors game, please put it in here because I can't look at it. And here's the thing. The Utah Jazz were terrible halfway through the season. Okay, they're a basketball team if you don't know. And they've got a rookie, Donovan Mitchell, who's just crushing it. But they were really, really bad midway through the season. And then they had one really great game. And then they kept having more great games. They even had a run of 10 great games where they won 10 in a row. Now that would have been awesome, but it doesn't mean anything if they couldn't sustain it, right? Now what makes the Jazz's story so awesome is not that they went from being a terrible team to winning a 10-game streak It's that they won the 10-game streak. They lost a couple, but then they just kept winning and they kept winning and they kept winning. And if they're beating what? No, don't you? Derek says they're up by 40. Seriously, don't you play with me, Derek. If they are not up by 40, I'm going to be so upset with you. I want someone to confirm that. Are the Jazz really up by 40 right now on the Warriors? What quarter is it, by the way? Because this is important for playoff seeding. But the Jazz played the long game that mattered, which is wins over time, right? Now, wins over time is what people remember. Right? Now people look at the Jazz of this season and say, this is the greatest turnaround ever. I agree. Holy crap, it's true. I'm so stoked. Take that, freaking Warriors. Oh my gosh. Ooh. Guys, I'm giving up this game for you guys. So thank you. This game, I was so excited about this game. Third quarter. Oh, third quarter. Warriors didn't have anything to play for, so it doesn't surprise me. But that's the thing, guys. It's about long-term wins, okay? This season really didn't mean anything without them getting in the playoffs, but they kept at it. They were consistent game in and game out. They had some terrible losses, but they bounced back from it. And what will people remember? What will I remember from this season? It's the fact that even though they started off crappy, they didn't know what they were doing. They came together as a cohesive team, played the long game, and made it into the playoffs. Now, whether or not they win the finals, that's a whole nother question. But the long game, okay? You are playing the long game in Facebook ads. You are playing the long game in online marketing, period. What does that mean? That means, yes, sometimes we can try out those offers where, like Will and I have talked about, you'll put a $20 offer in front of someone and convert them. Cameron's done that. Other people have done that. We've had success with that. But that is not the core of our marketing. It cannot make up the core of it. And you know why. Cameron, you know why. Because you can't always be putting an offer in front of someone and just always convert. That's just not how it works. We're not going to hit those home runs, okay? We're not always going to beat the Warriors. We need to be consistent over time so that we can beat the Warriors in the long game when it actually matters. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to make Facebook ads that are lead generation specific, meaning you're getting a name and an email address, and then you're going to be following up with emails. You're going to be following up with retargeting, which is so freaking important, you guys. Retargeting ads where you're actually hitting people who have already expressed interest in your stuff and bringing them along. We just talked about it for an hour in our live course, in the live portion of our course. And we're going to be going deep into retargeting with our mastermind group. Gosh, I don't even know. Yeah, within the 6 months, we'll get to that point for sure. It's going to be a 6-month program. Really, it's designed for a year, but we're kind of breaking it up into 2 segments to be helping people crush their ads. So that is step number 7, is turning on the ad. 8 is metrics. It's finding what works. So yes, you've run Facebook ads. Awesome. What worked about them? Now, if you've set them up in the way that we like to, you're going to have split test data. Now, we're undergoing a huge data mining project looking at all of the split tests that we've run across multiple clinics, across multiple states, even across multiple disciplines, looking at all the split test data and seeing what works at a wide level. This is huge. I mean, this is going to be 500 plus, probably pushing 1,000 split tests that we're going to be getting data from. Everything from and I can tell you some preliminary results. Square video does best, for example, on Facebook ads. Captioned video does best on Facebook ads. There's going to be a whole bunch of other stuff like what copy works best, what headlines work best. For healthcare, nobody is doing anything like this because nobody has been running the volume of split tests that we have over the past year. And at some point, we'll make this available to everyone. Our mastermind is going to get first access to it. And we're actively using that with clients as well, but it's going to be so cool. You got to find out what works. And if you don't test it, there's no way to know, right? So simple split testing is one thing against another, right? Facebook allows you to do that at a massive level. We like to split test at least 27 ad variants every single time we launch an ad. You can do up to 48. You can do up to 50 per campaign, per ad set. But right now we have an ad, for example, that had like 128 ad variants going because it was to different audiences. You can learn so much data from that. Data, ooh, I love the data. But that's what takes your ads from good to great, is testing to see what works and then using what works over and over and over. Will and I have found some things that just always work. We find some headlines that just always work. We find copy variations that always work. And then this goes to the 9th step. This is where you're at ninja level marketing, and that is the retargeting. That's where you're building in all the systems that allow you to have this on autopilot. Imagine for a moment how powerful it would be. How powerful would it be to have an ad that's running, that's a video, that's just a couple bucks a day, always in the background, gathering a large audience of people who don't know you, bringing them into your world. Okay, you're going for video views. Next, you retarget them maybe with another video view. So everyone who watches video 1 gets to watch video 2, and maybe even video 3. And you're pushing, you're actually able to control content that people see on Facebook, which you cannot do now with your business page, right? Thank you, Facebook, very much. They have torn our business page reach to shreds. So now we got to pay for it. But you're able to get in front of so many people now, and you know exactly who you're getting in front of. One video, retargeting with maybe a second video or a third video, and eventually you can be at the point where, gosh, maybe once a month, I literally just have a value post that's going out to people. We're going to get deep into this in the coming weeks in terms of what remarketing and retargeting ads do you want to be running. We're testing a lot with this right now as to what works best for the long game. And so ideally, guys, we want you to succeed. We want you to be able to set it up so that it's automatic. I mean, how cool would that be? Video views running to other ads that are eventually running to offers without you having to touch it. Like, you set it up and it's all just set up automatically. And then they're just coming into your system automatically, and they get their emails all set up automatically. And then they reach out to you automatically. And that's something sustainable that you can have. That's the ABC marketing method. You assess, you build, you crush it. You freaking crush it. So as a recap, here are the 9 steps. Audience exploration, number 1. Okay, here's what I want you to do. I want you to put a number that you think that you are on in this system. Okay, so listen closely. I want you to listen to what the different numbers are, and I want you to put what number you think you're on in the comments, okay? So we'll catch up real quick. Joey says, giving test, retest a whole different meaning. Yeah, you better believe it. Okay, so step 1, audience exploration, finding who your audience is. Step 2, crafting the perfect message. Step 3, testing your message and your offer. Step 4, media mastery. Step 5, setting up your funnel. Step 6, setting up the back end. Step 7, creating the first Facebook ad or the next Facebook ad. Step 8, finding out what works, data analysis, going back and looking at your ads to see what works. Step 9, refining those campaigns with remarketing or retargeting ads. Jeremy says he's at 2. George says he's at 3. If you're on the live stream, I expect it right now. I expect 16 answers because there's 16 of you on here. Let's hear it, guys. What step do you think you're on? And then that should tell you what you need to do next. Again, 1, audience exploration. 2, message. 3, offer testing. 4, media mastery. 5, funnel creation. 6, back-end systems. 7, Facebook ad setup. 8, metrics and analysis. 9, refining and retargeting. There it is, Joey. I just gave it back to you again. This is something, again, that we're going to be taking every one of our mastermind students through at a very deep level to ultimately set up these ongoing campaigns. Okay, it's going to be freaking awesome. 9 right now for PM. All right, good stuff. Andrew's right up there. Will's right up there. No, Will, dude, you and I came up with this, and that's the thing is so much of what we've built has been such a beautiful collaboration. Will has this intense ability to see the big picture that I don't. And he just gets psychology so well, which is something that I don't. I'm so like detail focused that I can get into the details really well of things. And Will is the best big picture, like wait, does someone actually care about this in the way that so I'm always thinking like, okay, wait a minute, what would Will say about this and how I'm messaging this? Is this something that that would be Will approved? So I freaking love it. Trey says he's at 2, Kitaboni 2, John 2. So y'all, a bunch of you are at 2, which means that you are not ready to set up a Facebook ad yet. Like, it doesn't make sense for you to go throw up a Facebook ad if you're still figuring out message assessment. Now, could you set up an ad that is purely for testing purposes? Yes. Yes, that might be totally appropriate. But you need to, like, before you go build out an entire funnel, you should know if your offer, if people care about it. Felicia's at 4. Awesome. Y'all, this is what our course is about too. It's the technical aspects of this. Less the strategy, more the technical aspects of each of these. How do you go and explore your audience? How do you go test your message through ads? How do you go create videos for Facebook? How do you edit them? How do you set up the funnel? How do you set up the backend systems? How do you set up the ads? How do you do data analysis? How do you actually go and set up the targeting for a retargeting ad? What would Will say? Yes, 100%. So if you are not in our course yet, it's not open right now, but it is the how-to of all this stuff. If you're interested in a deep level 6-month mastermind where we're going through this entire process together with guidance from Will and I, that's something that's going to be available in the coming weeks. Let us know. Say, hey, I'm interested in the mastermind. Okay. Again, that is not for everyone. We'll talk about who that's for and who that's not for. You need to be a business owner who's ready to invest some money in Facebook advertising or in your marketing, for sure, to be at that point. We'll talk about that later. But I just wanted to give this to you guys. This is your roadmap. Now you know where you need to be focusing. So following up from last week, we talked about where your attention needs to be in your content consumption right now. When something pops up in the group, when something pops up online, now you know where you're at. Now you know what your next step is. Go back through and listen to what all those steps were. See, if I'm at 4, what is 5? What do I need to do to get from 4, media mastery, to 5, setting up my funnels? Then you should be focusing on setting up your funnels. Content pertinent to setting up funnels. Software pertinent to setting up funnels, right? That's what you should be focusing on. Guys, I hope this has been helpful. I want you to have direction in how you're spending your time marketing, and I want you to be thinking long game, right? All of this just gets us to the point of like being able to run the ads in the first place. And at the end of it, that's when we're really doing all the stuff that really stacks up the ROI, right? Early on, you're going to have to spend some money to figure this out. You're going to have to spend some money to have the software in place. You're going to have to spend some money to have the website, to have the landing pages, whether that's ClickFunnels or lead pages or something else. You're going to have to put money out on this. It's the long-term game that we're looking at here as business owners. It's the Jazz getting into the playoffs, right? That it's like, okay, this grind was worth it. It hurts early on. We lost Gobert and it was like, oh no, he's our center. But now that he's back, it's like, okay, we made it through that rough point. We had to invest in a rookie, right? They're spending money on a rookie. And now it pays off in the long term. So keep the long-term game in mind. This is your game plan, ABC Marketing Steps 1 through 9. Go make it happen, you guys. Thank you so much for listening. This has been Tuesday Night Fever, and I just freaking love you guys. Again, if you're listening on the replay, let me know what number you're in. Say hi. Thank you, guys. We'll see you next time.